This is Gateway City Sports.
It's a trap!
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
This is the Team of Rivals podcast.
Everything you want to hear from the big sports to the big screen.
He's all by himself, fires into the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! No!
On into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Doesn't like you. I don't like you either.
Time winding down, Mike open three. Yes, she is gone.
I can't believe what I just saw!
Go crazy, folks. Go crazy. You believe in miracles? Yes!
You may fire when ready.
What?
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the show. It is February 18th. We just did an audio version just a few days ago. We bypassed the live show last week, so we do apologize for that. Not really. We didn't have a horde of things to talk about, right, Elliott? I mean, we were just dicking around, but I hope you all enjoyed at least the show on Sunday. That was uncommonly early. I haven't asked our occasional co-host here why he didn't make it on Sunday, but that's okay. We won't. We'll forgive him. Okay. Well, we'll get to that. I'm going to get to that in a second. While not a lot of big news happened in baseball this week, there was certainly some big money thrown around, Elliott, and I want to get into that probably up front here. We do have another guest on with us, my brother, another occasional guest. He may replace Elliott in time there. We don't know, but we talk too much sports, so that wouldn't be possible. He'd be like a back half guest, I guess. But Pete is out tonight, and I knew that going into the week. Wasn't sure if we were going to do a live show this Thursday or not, but I was happy to do it. And I tell you, getting used to working the buttons and then leading in on the show is not the show we did, Elliott. Like in the old days, we just did audio only. You talk about way more relaxing. You could start all over if you effed it up. And here we are. We do this stuff live, and I don't know why the hell we even bother. All right, so I think we're back on again live here on YouTube. Looks like Periscope, or at least what's left of Periscope, and Facebook. Sorry about the audio problems, folks. I don't really even know how to explain it. It's just really dumb to me. It's worked every week. I actually haven't moved any equipment or touched any buttons in probably 2 or 3 weeks, so I can't explain it. It might be software. It might just be me. But Elliott has not found his way back, which it's not really that shocking to anybody. That I think he probably just checked out for the rest of the night, which is fine. We've got the baseball conversation out of the way. Elle, I hope Elle is on with us. You guys know her on Twitter at Holy Elle. Elle's on with us, good friend of the show. She didn't want to be on camera tonight. Don't blame her. She asked, and it almost heard you like ask me in a soft voice just over a text. Can I just call in this time? And I'm like, sure, go ahead. Not a problem.
It's been a rough day.
It's been a rough day. Yeah. So Elle's on with us, great friend of the show. Just love it when you're on here because we get to talk about stuff kind of outside of the box, what we typically do. And so we're going to get into a little bit of that tonight. My brother's on with me, he's now paying attention because we're not talking about baseball anymore. Baseball, it was too hot outside. He didn't like to play it.
I like to play in the dirt.
Yeah, there were bugs. There was all kinds of stuff going on. He just wasn't a fan. But I want to start off with this. Elle, I hope first of all you weren't offended by the poll I put out. Where in the 2021 season, are the Orioles and Pirates always going to be down 3-0? I was hoping you wouldn't have seen that. Okay. Trying to be funny, and I'm like, I don't have any Orioles friend fans. I'm like, oh shit, wait a minute. I do.
I played on the Orioles.
That's exactly right. You did.
I did.
That was I don't know if I had shipped out already or not, but yeah, that's right, Scott. I remember the picture.
I had heat stroke that season.
You didn't have heat stroke.
No, I just was too much of a baby. And
yeah, you cried wolf there. That was just being hot, bud. That wasn't heat stroke. But, so I want to start off with this, and Elle, you don't know this yet. It's not like widely known, but I got a text from my brother earlier in the week, and it was probably one of the better texts I've seen in a very, very long time. We have a new nuddle in the family. A new niece of mine, not a new niece. I don't consider her a new niece, but my brother has adopted his stepdaughter, Hannah. So she goes from Hannah Davis to Hannah Nuttall, and so now we have another Scott. That's got to be a pretty big moment this week, man. I know that you don't just send stuff out like that willy nilly, and so coming from you, it's been a long time, but it's probably worth it. And so you're officially. I mean, you are officially a dad now. I know you always have been in your heart, but
yeah, yeah, I'm legal now.
According to the state, you are a dad now.
I am exactly.
All right. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
That was welcome news.
Thank you. Yeah, it was fun. I kept saying that nothing's really changed there, so I didn't really put a lot of emotion into it. But in the courtroom, when the judge said it was official, like. Thank God I had a mask on because I went from like this to.
Were your lips quivering? You had that face. Yeah, you can't make that face.
I absolutely did. Yeah, it's a terrible crying face. So
we have. I don't know if it's just our family, if it's our muscle structure or bone structure. What is it? We have terrible crying faces. Like you would.
Wouldn't everybody have an ugly cry?
No, I think some people have cute cries. I certainly.
That's a lie.
Some people are beautiful.
No.
Beautiful criers.
That's called
Toby Maguire has a beautiful crying.
Oh my God, he does not.
Watch any of the Spider-Man movies. Oh, it's angelic.
Oh
it's angelic. Elliott has joined us. He's in the waiting room here. Elliott, we've moved off of baseball talk, but I'm sure you're okay with that. Elle is now on with us. She's on the phone. She's hiding tonight. I don't blame her. It's been a rough week. It's been a cold week. You guys have all been shut in or shut down. And I tell you, schools did not go in session today because we had a little bit of ice in the Charlotte area. Yeah,
wow.
It's either delayed start, but my kids didn't even go to school today because of the winter weather threat. And by winter weather threat, we mean 32 degrees and some rain.
Oh,
wow! How did you ever cope?
That sounds like springtime.
Right.
coming from the kid who claims he suffered heat stroke.
Yeah.
Thoughts and prayers go out to you.
Yeah. Elliott is.
When you're. Yeah.
Elliott, for some reason, the audience is still not going to be able to hear you, and I cannot diagnose this problem. They finally got Scott, but hold on, I'm going to try. Go ahead and speak. Yeah, it's still not picking you up, bud. For some reason, I can't figure out why. I really can't. I wish I could. I'm going to try one thing here, and if it doesn't work, I don't know what to tell you other than just piss off.
I hear.
Go ahead and speak, Elliott.
Speak freely.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I don't know. Just you speak.
Suck my balls.
Okay, I think they got you.
Okay.
No, the camera's just gonna have to be on me, or possibly even just on Scott. I'll try to get you in here again, and we'll have to fix the Oh, that's not fair. Okay. I want to move to something real quick here. Scott, I had the pictures up, but since we had to reboot and restart everything, I don't have the images up. But, Scott, and Elle has went through the stories are obviously different. No two stories are the same, but both of you have kind of gone on a journey here, or at least reached a point where you changed a lot. You changed how you looked. I don't know if you necessarily changed how you thought or how you felt, but Scott went through quite a transformation this last year, Elle, and he had posted a before and after image. I'm going to try to pull it up here and see if I can do that. But he really transformed how he appeared. Okay, I got it up here on screen, and I'm going to send it to the live feed here, so those still watching can see it. We're not watching chat or anything right now, guys. Sorry, we've had some difficulties tonight. But you see a kind of before and after of Scott here. Scott, what was it that you looked at, or what was that day? What was that moment like where you kind of came to that point where I can't do this anymore?
Yeah, that's literally what it was. Is just like I think as a man, you just, that confidence is important. And I mean, I think it's important for man or a woman, but it's just, getting a little bit older. I'm in my 30s now, and I kind of lost my confidence, and I was feeling soft. And I don't know. I tried things before, and I finally just hit that point where I was just pissed, and I was ready to make that change. And it was a drastic one. My schedule, my life is completely altered now, but it's awesome. I love it. So.
Elle, what about you? I mean, your story's obviously a little different, but you went through a transformation as well, and you've documented it pretty well out there on social media. You haven't been shy about sharing how it started, how it's going. For instance, posts like that. So just walk us through a little bit of that, because I'm sure there's some parallels here.
Yeah, I think it was about my mid-30s when I decided that enough was enough. So yeah, it was a lot of trial and error too. There was a lot of things that going into it I believed you had to do in order to lose weight, and it's like I said, it's just trial and error. You learn what works and what doesn't, and what you're able to sustain over. It's about changing lifestyle instead of just a beginning and an ending of a diet so much. It's just, it's a lot of just figuring out what works. I was one of those that believed no carbs or no eating after 8 or all that crap. So yeah, I've gone through a lot of success and failure through it all, trying to figure it out. And thankfully, I'm definitely at a point now where I'm much smarter about it and much more realistic. And it's I wouldn't say it's easy, but it's daily now. It's a lot. I know what things are myths, and I know what the truths are as far as weight loss and changing all of that is now. So yeah, you do come to a point where you just get tired of it. You get tired of looking at yourself.
Yeah, well, absolutely. That's for sure. And I think you said it correctly with it's the sustainability part of it. It's because I've tried so many different things, and I've never been I've never been really overweight. It's just, it's being more naturally lean. Everybody always just assumed I was healthy, and I really wasn't. Like my cholesterol was high, my blood pressure was a little high. I go up a flight of stairs, I was winded, and now it's just through trial and error, finding what's sustainable, and I know what I can do for the long term for years versus, just trying to do the fad thing for 2 or 3 months at a time.
Well, you know what? I don't want to exclude Elliott here, because Elliott has kind of went through. I don't know if it's quite as drastic or similar, Elliott, but I know you put some effort into it. I mean, you switched to White Claws, for love of God. So
yeah. well, yeah. This was like a year and a half ago. I was a wrestler, so weight was like a big thing that I always watched growing up. So I was up to 220, and this is so I would have been like 38, and I was kind of like, you know what? I feel like shit. I sleep like shit. I snore at night. I'm always the athlete, and I'm like, I gotta do something different. And kind of like everybody else, I tried different kind of diets and carbs and stuff like that, and doing a little education. I'm like, it's all about calories. It's about what I consume and what I burn off. And so I found a weightlifting schedule that worked for me, and that's kind of what I focused on, was weights in my calorie intake. And I know that
sounds very, very familiar.
I know that Elle has been on the same kind of track. So I mean, COVID, it's been a little bit tougher to get in the gym, and I don't have the ability to do it. And I have been going to the gym, but I spray shit religiously, even though other people don't, just to be safe. But I've kind of maintained the last year or so. I'm kind of in a happy place. I know I'm not going to see that 6-pack ever again, but I went from 220 down to about 185. So, and I'm happy with where I'm at.
That's awesome.
What is that about? I mean, at lower part of the stomach, at least, I don't know if it's the same way for women as it for men, but I got one of the ab rollers. I've got one of these things, and I've got some definition at the very top, and then it just kind of fades away, as though you took me in Photoshop and just kind of blended in the bottom half of the abdomen to just normal guy.
It fades.
Yeah, but you have to get to such a low body fat to get the abs that it's even the guys that have done shows and they have their 6-pack, they'll even tell you it's miserable to get to that body fat percentage to do it.
It's lower than 8%, isn't it? It's like 7 or 6% for that.
It's around 5. It's like unsustainably low. So I don't try for abs.
Yeah, I don't think.
And you can't focus weight loss. So it really is getting total body fat down. But I feel like, and I don't know how you feel, Elle, but I feel like as long as it might be different for you, but I do bench, I do deadlift, and I do squats. Those are my 3 cores that I do constantly every single week, and then I work around those workouts.
Yeah, as long as you get your main compound ones in: squats, deadlifts, bench press, your bent over, your rows, your shoulder presses. As long as you get those main compound ones in, everything else is like an isolation or an accessory, which is just kind of what do you want to add into it. So if you want your arms bigger, you want to do, biceps 3 times a week, but I mean, everything else, as long as it's a compound one, it works your entire body. So that's always the good ones to get in: push-ups and dips, and there's quite a few of them. Lunges, those are good. But as long as you get those in,
the split squats, as I call the devil.
Yeah, well, you know what? Legs are my weak point. I've told you that, Elle. I think over private DM, you asked if anybody out there wanted, a quick lesson or at least a suggestion on what to do. I tried it. I had right knee problems. I don't know what those are. I think it's just probably age. Legs are always my weak point. I mean, it's just one of those things. Everybody's got their thing.
Most men are they're weaker from the hips down, and women are weaker from the hips up. So it's all about. I mean, it is. But I do.
So you're saying the perfect human. We just cut them off at the waist and give a man upper half, woman lower half. There'd be a conflict of interest there. I think.
I will tell you this. I have bad knees running my family. My grandfather had knee replacements. My mom's had knee replacements. I've had knee.
So have you scheduled yours? You went ahead and just scheduled yours?
So from 2 years ago, because I have done legs every week and I do squats, I don't go all the way down like I probably should, but I go down to the bench and touch my butt and go back up. My knees don't hurt as much as they did in my early to mid 30s.
Okay. So, Scott, our sister, who I don't ever remember watching the show, chimes in on the Facebook chat. I thought that was Prince on Ron's shirt. I can only see I'm trying to, that obviously is a typo there. I can only see the eyes. Just realize who it was. You never seemed like a little red Corvette guy. You look great, Scott and Elle. That's from my sister, Brooke.
Oh, thank you.
All right, so I didn't have a kind of a revelation or workout moment like you all, but I think years ago, probably I'd say 12 years ago, I stepped on a scale. I mean, we had one in our old house, but I really hadn't got on it. I'm like, I'm fine. My Marine Corps body will remember how to get back in shape when I feel like doing it. And when I got out of the Marine Corps, I was 186 pounds, like 9 pounds under my Marine Corps limit where they want you to be at your height. I was 228 pounds. And I didn't realize it, but Scott, probably like you, I looked in the mirror and I was like, you look like you got stung by a bee and were allergic by a bee, but you didn't really realize it. You're puffy, you're swollen. For me at that time, this is before workout days or anything else. I started paying attention to what was on labels. And Elle, I think you preach this all the time. Just pay attention to the calories that are in things. Pay attention to sugar, all that kind of stuff. And it really was amazing. At least I was in my early 30s at this point, and it was rather easy at that point to just pay attention, and it made a huge difference. Obviously, as you get to 40, into your 40s, it becomes a little bit more of a challenge. It's not that easy as it was when your metabolism was working a little bit more for you rather than against you. So I kind of hit that COVID wall again earlier, and so again, I've had to pay attention to what's actually on a label. Elliott, you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Jeez,
you playing a guitar over there? You gonna serenade us?
I am.
So I don't have the story, but you guys have both, all of you. I mean, Elliott, you transformed on this show from week to week to week. Elle, your story is well documented, and Scott, I'm proud of my brother for just doing something to make himself feel better. Because God, it took forever.
God, it did. It was ridiculous.
It was ridiculous. I want to shift gears a little bit and go into something. And for those of you watching that aren't into fitness or aren't into anything else, I just want to warn you that we're not going to talk about something right now that's going to, most of you are going to check out. We'll just put it that way, right? We're going to talk about a little bit of a genre, a little bit of a thing here. I don't want to spend too much time on it, guys, but as stories have come out, look, we all think what we think about Star Wars and the sequel trilogy, what that means, how we would rewrite it, what we thought was going to happen. But before we go into there, there are definitely some points of light as far as Star Wars goes. The live streaming Mandalorian show has kind of brought a lot of the community back together around one thing, right? And especially the way they ended season 2. Elle, I'm not even sure we've talked to you since the end of the season 2 of The Mandalorian when Luke Skywalker made an appearance, but it's really kind of, I believe, gelled some of those that were apart rather violently, the way the sequel trilogy had come about. So we're there, but obviously now The Mandalorian comes with a little bit of controversy with Gina Carano, who played Cara Dune. Now, from what we read, if we believe everything we read on the internet, she's no longer going to be employed by Disney because of comments made. I don't know if I really want to go around table on this, but I guess it's fair to do so. It's a bummer, right? Because I enjoyed that character. I enjoyed the actor, the actor. I enjoyed the background, being from wrestling, entertainment, kind of making her way as an actor. But to not have that character there, at least played by that actor, is a bummer, and it's sad that things have to end like this because you have a view, regardless of what we think about it. But let me start with you, Elle. I mean, maybe this isn't a big deal to you. It's certainly not going to keep me awake at night, but it is a bummer that a character that was core to a story that we're just all getting used to and loving a lot can't be part of this crew going forward.
Yeah, especially when it comes down to cancel culture on Twitter. When Twitter decides who is, I mean, and granted, when some things are so outrageous that you deserve to be fired or, called out for something, that absolutely, you live by the sword, die by the sword. But I think in some cases it just becomes a vocal minority, and I think it becomes a very dangerous game of, if I don't like something you said, I don't agree with something you said. And from my understanding, she never called out one side or the other. She actually just said about political parties in general, about them fighting. This just becomes a very dangerous game, because now, from my understanding, is now there's a movement to now fire Pedro Pascal, and it's because of things he said on Twitter. And it's no side is going to be happy, because it's always going to be a one-upism. It's always going to be, okay, well, you took my guy out, and I'm going to take your guy out. Yeah. Well, I'm going to take you now for that. I'm going to take your guy. And to the point of, we're not going to have any shows anymore, or everybody's going to have to be computer animated, because no actor is ever going to be able to act again. I just think, unfortunately, because of the pandemic, a lot of people are sitting at home. They ain't got shit to do. So instead of going outside and fucking learn the guitar or something, I don't know, do something, but get the fuck off of Twitter or social media and quit arguing with everybody, finding something wrong. It's such a miserable way to live. I can't even wrap my head around it. As popular as all my pages might be, I spend a handful amount of time on social media. I'm in, out, and because it's just so negative. You can barely breathe right for anybody to be happy. Nobody's gonna be happy. You can't please everybody all the time.
No.
And it's getting to the point where now it's affecting people's careers and jobs, and that's just.
And I think that, look, I don't have the perfect answer to this, and I'm sure there's some out there that would hate how I respond to this, but I talked to Pete about this on Sunday. We just did an audio only show, real quick one. I think most of it's just, look, if we're going to punish one way, let's punish it both ways. Let's be fair. There have been plenty of, look, and I don't want to get into politics on here. We've never really done this here, although, Pete and I have scratched the surface a couple of times. We see things differently, which is fine. We're still friends. And by the way, world, you can be friends if you see things differently politically.
Right.
And just the world doesn't seem to want to do that anymore, right? We don't want to do that now. If you're a liberal or a conservative, you have to hate the other side. And I don't really understand why that is. But I do think, though, that if we're going to punish one side, I think we need to take a good hard look at the other one too, because there's been some pretty hateful things, a lot of anger from both sides. So if you're going to punish one, if you're going to cancel one, we got to be willing to go both ways.
Absolutely.
I think that's just how I feel about it. I'm not going to shake the earth by that view. There's a lot of people I feel that believe that. It's a two-way street. Scott, you were going to say something. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I just agree with you. I completely agree. I think that there's no reason why you can't. agree to disagree. There's no reason you have to hate each other. And no, with this whole cancel culture that we have now. I completely agree. If you're going to cancel one side for something, the other side should have the same fate, basically.
Yeah.
And then it gets to the point where there's nobody's going to have a job left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you have an opinion.
Yeah.
It's the inability to hold two independent thoughts in one's head is completely out the door. You're not allowed. You're either this side or that side. There's no middle ground. There's no room for just thought anymore. It's bizarre. It's bizarre and sad.
Yeah.
Just kind of touch on, Gina Carano just herself. I was kind of shocked because there's such a push right now for, body positivity, and, that everybody comes in different shapes and sizes and colors. And Gina Carano is kind of one of the few female celebrities that is an actor. I mean, there might be some others, but she's the biggest one, I think. And I liked her. I thought, I liked her aesthetic and how she looked, and she seemed very strong. And I mean, if you watch the Mandalorian, the gallery, the making of the Mandalorian, the episode where they talked about her doing her own stunts, they were impressed that she, there was a part where she had to pick up Pedro Pascal's character, and they said, well, we can get a cart under him so you don't have to actually drag him. And she actually picked him up and drug him. And I think that's awesome.
Scott, let me pause you there for a second, because I'm sorry. I got to apologize to my son. He's been on the line for about 15 minutes.
Oh yeah.
I forgot I combined the call, but he's been here. And I've got to rewind the show just ever so briefly and ask him, Braden, you are there, right? You didn't fall asleep like you did last time.
No, I almost did.
Okay, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry. I know.
Do on the show. Saying, but,
okay. Well, I'm sorry, bud. I've got you on a combined call with Elle, so you're on the same line with her. But go ahead and give me your take. $340 million, Fernando Tatis Jr. Good move, bad move by the Padres. I know you got an opinion on this, so just fire away.
Honestly, nobody knows.
Your uncle just fell asleep, by the way.
Nobody knows if it's a good or bad move, honestly. The thing is, he's 22, $340 million. He's only really had a season and a half. That's a really, a lot of money to give to someone who's really not that proven. I think he's really good, and I think he can be that superstar that they offer that money for. But yet again, it's not a guarantee. But if he is gets on, Mookie Betts level, or top 5 player, top 3 in the next, 5-10 years or whatnot, then I think it is worth it, because that's a pretty good contract for a player like that. But yet again, 22 years old, the Padres, out of anyone, can screw up a situation like this in a heartbeat. I mean, they did it before with Matt Kemp and whatnot. So, and nobody's ever going to be on top or, winning and in the playoffs every year for the next 14 years. So you got to think, will it hurt them 10 years from now, where the Padres are in a situation where they're not contending, they need rebuild, they need to free up cap space, with Machado and Tatis, and that's really hurting them, and they need to trade one of or both of those players. So, right now, you don't really know what would happen. So, I think it's a good move if he does end up turning into that superstar that they want him to be. I think it's a bad move if he's not. And I think it's a bad move if in the next early years of the contract that they're in big trouble because of it, and they're not in contention or a spot that they want to be.
Okay, let me chime in for just 1 minute.
Oh,
for just
God.
1 minute. I love the episodes that you have me on, and you also have my 15-year-old nephew. Now, Braden, you're almost 16, so I'm not going to apologize for what I'm about to say. But you make me. I like that when I get asked baseball questions, my answers usually come down to, I like when they catch the ball with their glove. But Braden can give this very in-depth, eloquent juxtaposition of what's happening.
He makes
in
sense,
baseball.
right? Yeah,
he makes sense, and I'm a dumbass. So
No, we're adults. We also have like 900 other things to focus on.
Your
that's very true.
In other areas,
it's very true. Go ahead. Finish
I was in my sports and entertainment marketing class today, and we were talking about season tickets and sales and marketing with players and whatnot. And my teacher was like, "Yo, what's the name of the Padres stadium?" And I was like, "Petco Park." Just like 2 seconds, and some kid in my class was like, "How does he just know that?" And I was like, "I don't know, I just do." And he was like, "You're like a baseball wizard." And I was like, I don't know if I should take offense to that or a compliment, but I guess
you are
I'll
a
take
baseball
it.
wizard. You are.
Reminds me of that commercial that ESPN had where there's the two sports guys sitting there talking about war, and the nerdy kid walking by in his glasses with his lunch money, and he turned around and he looked at the two sports guys and goes, "Nerds," and then just kept going. Because really, I mean, that's honestly what a lot of sports now is about, is talking about these analytics. And I mean, not everybody talks about it. Some people are just, on the surface, but a lot of people really get into these analytics of, launch angle and war and DSR and all these different things that it's all math based. So we've all become nerds in our own right when we look at
Did you
this
say
stuff.
all math based or all meth based?
Both.
Math based.
Because you had to be on meth to create these things.
Okay. I thought
it's the only reason I got into baseball at all. It kept my attention.
Also,
when they brought the math out.
That's right.
One of the last things I want to say is, I know you haven't watched that. You might have watched it the first few episodes. I don't know if Pete and Elliott have. I know Scott has, because I talked to him about it last weekend. But for me, in about 4 hours, I'll be getting up and watching the new episode.
Okay. Wait, Braden, stop for a second. I'm going to put the camera on Scott, and I'm going to give you guys, along with Elle. You've been watching WandaVision, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes WandaVision coverage.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh, you think it'll be Blue Marvel?
Oh, I was wondering that.
Oh my God, I don't even know what the hell you guys are talking about. I'm gonna duck out, guys. You guys have 5 minutes. You talk about WandaVision and all this other shit. You guys, go ahead. Have at it.
Oh, it's good. It's a good one.
It's
a good one.
I did watch that.
Ultron? Oh. Maybe I haven't seen that one. I thought you were talking about the one that's
Yeah, I thought you were talking about the one with the
Family.
kid. Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen that. Well,
That a leak?
yeah.
Oh, that's not good, though. Stop.
I am pretty positive that the anonymous person that Monica Rambeau's been messaging is gonna get introduced in this episode, most likely, because the actress of hers said she couldn't wait for that to be revealed or whatnot. So that could be somebody.
Yeah, the engineer.
So
is it going to be Reed Richards? Is it going to be Alan? Is it going to be Blue Marvel?
I think it's going to be Blue Marvel because Monica Rambeau has had so much back history with him, and that really kind of fits his character. I don't think it would be Reed Richards. I think Reed Richards would be awesome, but would they really risk introducing? I mean, they already have a Fantastic Four movie coming out. Would they risk setting up Reed Richards in a WandaVision show? I don't know. Well, that's the only thing I'm thinking, that maybe there's still a possibility, because this would be a really good surprise. Like it would be completely unexpected. And they
have Reed Richards.
And they already, I did read a rumor where they did say that WandaVision had a cameo up at the season finale of The Mandalorian, but everybody assumed it was Quicksilver. And I read a blip where they said, yeah, no, it hasn't happened yet. So I'm like, okay, so that's, I don't know.
You're talking about the one that Paul Bettany has said that he's always wanted to work with this person?
No, I think this is the interview that Elizabeth Olsen did, where she said there is going to be a Luke Skywalker like moment where there's going to be a character introduced on that level.
Yeah, that's what Paul Bettany had said, that it's somebody that he's always wanted to work with, that he's always wanted to work with. He has scenes with this guy or scenes with this person that are electric and fireworks, and that. And
we haven't seen.
I thought it was going to be Doctor Strange, just for it to be at the end of Avengers Disassembled.
But he said he's always wanted to work with this person.
He didn't work with Benedict Cumberbatch. They were never on the same set for Avengers.
They were. I definitely think that they've already confirmed that they're doing a multiverse trilogy, and it will take WandaVision, Spider-Man 3, and Doctor Strange 2.
And Doctor Strange.
So those will be the 3 parts. Yeah. So that's why I'm like, Doctor Strange is already confirmed to be in Spider-Man 3. I guarantee that he will show up probably at some point in WandaVision. So who knows? I also did see where it leaked somewhere that James Spader was listed as Ultron. So who knows?
Yeah, I had heard that Ultron is actually Hayward.
I heard that too, which that actually there is some precedence to that, because in the Avengers Assemble cartoon,
he had the human face.
Yes, he did. He had, and I forget what character, but it was a political or government figure that he was using a human identity.
Yeah, he was a government official.
Yeah, so there is some precedence there.
All right, guys, I got to take I have to take care of some. Braden, go ahead. I was just getting ready to take care of some parental business here until you go to bed. But go ahead.
I was going to say, what about the the Mephisto series and Agnes and her mysterious husband Ralph and all that? What's going to go on with that? Is that going to be slowly revealed this episode, or what?
It should be Al Pacino as Mephisto.
Ooh. End of Days callback?
And a Devil's Advocate using him from Satan from Devil's Advocate. They should bring him back as Mephisto.
Yeah, there we go.
All right. Well, with that said, Braden, it is 10:15. You do have school tomorrow. I know this.
No argument. But
I'm waiting for him to respond.
No, yeah, I'll be up in about 4 hours to watch it, and then I'll.
Yeah, you tell him to go ahead and send a message on Twitter when he finds out what's happening.
Yeah, I'm always up as soon as it releases to watch it.
All right, B. You got to go to bed, buddy. I don't want to get in trouble from your mom for you being awake.
Yeah,
still, so
she's already asleep anyway. It's all right.
all right. All right. Love you, bud. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right.
All right.
See you, buddy.
Night.
All right. Bye.
Oh, he actually hung up. I thought, no way. He's going to, I can see when he's on.
One
I thought
more thing.
he would linger on.
Yeah, one more thing. It's funny. So Braden, this last weekend, he stayed in town with Ron and I's mom and dad. And so him and I had very long discussions about WandaVision. And he talked about that, like Mephisto, and is he the one pulling the strings, which is Marvel's equivalent of the devil. And I talked to him about a very obscure storyline from like I'm trying to think, I think it was 1982, that had Nightmare as a Doctor Strange villain, and how he can manipulate people through their fears and through their dreams, basically. And that's what I'm saying. I think Mephisto is a little too obvious. I think whoever is in WandaVision is going to be the main villain in Doctor Strange 2. So my money's on Nightmare, but
yeah, because I think there's been too much hinting at that it's not necessarily Wanda who's the bad guy, because she doesn't remember how she got there. So that tells me that
she's been manipulated.
Something's been manipulated in her mind to make her think that she needs to protect this area and not allow anybody in, and that there's outside forces here.
Well,
who is Mephisto, guys?
For it to be.
Did you say Meat Fisto?
No. I'm just guys. I have not watched this. I've struggled through it, so I don't know. And all I see when I hear Mephisto, I think of some Irish guy. Hey, I'm gonna hit you with Mephisto. I don't know what that is.
Mephisto.
It's Kit Fisto's brother.
That's right.
And which, of course, 5% of the audience will know what we're talking about. But I know who he is. I know who he is.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Look, I don't want to cut this conversation off. If you guys want to continue, I'm happy just sitting here and listening to WandaVision. Yeah. I'm totally happy.
How does it feel, Ron?
Fair enough. I know I've made you sit through CBA conversations and everything else that you're completely not.
Let me start you with Avengers Disassembled. Panel 1.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
Good one.
Okay,
exactly
well, go
what
ahead.
you're talking about. There we go.
They're sitting around a table at the Avengers complex. No, we're not going to go through the whole storyline, but it's a great storyline. That's where we're leading.
It is. Yeah.
Okay.
I can't wait. It's
I mean,
it's a good show.
Ron, you have Disney Plus, obviously, because
I
you
do.
watch.
I do. So it's all about bandwidth, though, Elliott. It's all about bandwidth. Like, what can I take in, right? And unfortunately, right now, I have 9, soon to be 10. He's soon to be 10. 7-year-old, soon to be 8, and a 4-year-old, soon to be 5. I only have so much time, man. So I can only absorb a few things right now, and maybe like when bandwidth opens up, like when they become teenagers and they don't want to talk to me anymore, I can do some of this stuff, but I just can't. I only have. I have a day job.
Well, but
you need
so
the
far the
Avengers
episodes have only been
compendium.
like 18 minutes long. So, with about 23 minutes of credits. So, I mean,
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Those are the longest credits
seriously,
ever.
They are the longest credits ever.
You could watch it during a
they gotta
bathroom
have
break,
like
honestly.
like a next scene after the credits.
Yeah,
they're
that's
so
what
long.
They are. They're just as long as a feature-length film. Every freaking episode. It's insane.
They're supposed to be these last 3 are supposed to be an hour. But everybody keeps saying that they're supposed to be they'll be 40 minutes with 20 minutes of credits.
Right.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Yeah. Now, Ron, have you seen, or did you see the Super Bowl trailer for The Falcon and the Winter Soldier? No.
That's a no.
That's a
negative.
I didn't. I'm sorry. I did watch the whole game though, which I was disappointed by, which I'm sure Elle was too. I wanted to see a more competitive Super Bowl, but
I don't care about that.
He just wants to know if you saw
I don't
trailer
care about your
for Falcon and Winter
your
Soldier.
football throwing game. Okay.
I know.
I'm asking about the trailer.
I know. My brother and I.
And the trailer, the trailer on YouTube was much more impressive than the trailer that they showed on TV.
It's true. It's true. That.
Did you guys? Let me throw this out here. Speaking of trailers, you guys see the new Mortal Kombat?
Yes, I did.
It's still just as bad as the first one.
But you know what my biggest gripe is how dare they cast an Asian actor to play Raiden when they should have cast a white French guy?
Yeah, exactly. The Highlander.
Hey, there can only be one. I was going to say there can only be one.
Yes. Yeah. No, it does. It looks like a more violent, but just as cheesy version of the 1990s movies.
Like, I wasn't impressed with that at all. Here. I saw I can't remember what the forearm beast was. I'm like, that looks no better than the animatronic. Goro looks no better than the animatronic one they tried to pull off in the 90s.
The only reason I have a soft spot for it is because I remember Brooke taking me to Mortal Kombat 1 and 2. Our Ron and I's sister, and you and I played, but you and your friends, and then you guys would let me get in there.
Not often.
Not often. Play Mortal Kombat 2 on the Super Nintendo. I distinctly remember that, and I also distinctly remember you getting extremely mad at me because I would just uppercut you in a corner over and over and over again.
Yeah, that was a cheap move.
As you were like 18 and I was 6, so.
Well, you can't. You got to dominate people, right? Especially when they're younger siblings. You can't show weakness. But, all right, folks. I wanted to get into a whole nother topic tonight about Star Wars and how we would have rewritten the sequel trilogy. I'm not obviously we're running late. We're not going to do that tonight. But everybody, gear up. Little homework assignment here in the coming weeks, months, whenever you have time to get back on with us. I would like to talk to you about what you would have done. Like if somebody would have come to you, Scott or Elliott, and said, "Hey, sequel trilogy is going to happen beyond Return of the Jedi," what would you have wanted to see?
Exactly what they gave us.
Bullshit.
No, not really. No, that's a lie. That's a complete lie.
Not as much as a shot at what they did, but like what we all had expectations. Like when we heard they were going to make more movies, they were going to make episode 7. What went in your head? Like what happened? And so I think that's what I want to tear into a little bit, because I think it's just, it's just kind of fun to revisit. Look, part of the thrill of me, experiencing the prequel trilogy was wondering just what was going to happen from movie to movie to movie. And it wasn't like it is now. And it was 3 years in between, a lot of speculation, a lot of imagination kind of running wild about what was going to happen. We've lost a bit of that because everything's so instant, everything's so quick. I mean, the sequel trilogy happened fast. Guys, we had a new movie every 2 years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So just it's a fun thing to go back and look at.
Hey, but we are going to get that Rian Johnson trilogy.
I don't know if I want it, Elliott.
Yeah, I don't want that.
I tell you what, I am more looking forward to the Book of Boba and then the next season of The Mandalorian and the Obi-Wan show. I am more looking forward to these Disney Plus shows than I am to any feature-length film that Star Wars has coming.
Agree. Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Yeah, I completely agree with that too.
Because we have the two guys that we now have the trust in Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni.
Yeah. And
there's so many other stories to be told. That's why there's not. That was my. Yeah. I got one criticism. You didn't have to have anything to do with the Skywalkers. That's how you do sequels.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's
so many other stories.
That for
you could have done something with Mandalore.
Yeah.
And led up to the Mandalorian here. You could have done.
You got
KOTOR and all that. you could have done all backstory of the Mandalores and Death Watch and all that kind of shit.
Oh, Elliott pulled out the KOTOR card. Amazing.
I mean,
What?
for a galaxy that's, they talk about it. It is
Infinite.
a galaxy, and we keep focusing on like how do these characters that we've seen in some other movie, like it's the odds of them crossing paths are crazy. So I don't know. I'm with you. I think go out, don't go back to Skywalkers. Just yeah, but no, the Disney Plus shows I think are going to be great. And really, as a Marvel fan, I think I like seeing Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau basically being Star Wars's Kevin Feige.
Kevin Feige. Yeah.
And that's what they need. They need somebody with a vision and a passion to steer the ship. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't think since Disney bought it on their feature film side, I don't think they've had that.
I would have loved to have seen that last scene at the end of season 2 of Mandalorian. That X-Wing that showed up, it would have been Dave Filoni's character instead of Luke.
Oh, yeah.
So you just see,
Hey guys.
so, we originally shot that scene. It was just going to be me, popping out. And I would have seen all those black stormtroopers and be like, oh, man, I'm getting back in. And all of a sudden...
That's a pretty good impression.
It was just...
sounds just like
the only people that survived were Grogu and Gideon, and that was it. That was it. But it didn't test well, so we just, That was it.
You need to get a hat to put on when you talk
you do.
like Dave
You really
Filoni,
do.
so.
You do. Yeah.
Well, we shot that, but it was like they don't like that. So
I think you need to grow the facial hair. You should just go as Dave Filoni for Halloween, and you just stop random people on your street and just start telling them behind the scenes Star Wars stuff. See if anybody gets it. See if anybody gets who you are.
See, I knew George like years ago. It's amazing. Yeah, we're done. All right, Elliott, walk us out here. You know the routine.
Well, wow, put me on the spot. God damn it. Yeah.
Okay, we don't have to do it. We can just cut it off.
No. All good. When you're not watching us on YouTube, listening to us on Spotify and wherever you find us everywhere else, yeah, totally screwed that up. You caught me off guard here, Ron. Cut it. I'm just gonna drink another one of these.
That's fine. All right, folks. It's been fun tonight. Elle, thank you so much for joining us again. It's always fun having you on, getting your insight into, fitness, just overcoming things that we don't think we can, and just having the right mindset. So enjoy following you, Scott.
I do, definitely.
Hey, man. Yep,
Hey.
Scott does, and Scott, what you've done has been inspiring to me. It inspired me to eliminate the COVID-12 that I had put on.
Nice, good job.
It's been nasty. All right, guys. Love you all so much. We'll talk to you next week. Pete, hope you're enjoying your trip and having the time of your life. Son of a bitch. All right. Talk to you all later. Bye-bye, everyone.